Welcome back to the channel, everyone, where we love talking about movies and more. Today, we're talking about my most anticipated movies of 2025. Hey everyone, thanks so much for coming back to the channel. So excited to get 2025 off to an amazing start. 2024 was a great year on YouTube, my first year on YouTube. Excited to get my second year on YouTube kicking off right now, talking about my most anticipated movies of 2025. I'm actually going to do two videos like this, my most anticipated movies that aren't comic book related, going into 2025. Then I'll do a separate video covering my most anticipated comic book films of 2025. So for today, we're just going to run down the Rotten Tomatoes list of the most anticipated films of 2025. So this isn't going to be an exhaustive list, but hopefully this will cover the movies that I'm primarily excited to see, and hopefully you are too. So before we go any further in this video, guys, I want to ask you to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single video. When you guys do all of that stuff, it always helps out the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Now let's get on with the video. Coming out on January 10th, we have Den of Thieves 2. I haven't seen Den of Thieves 1, but I do quite like Gerard Butler, and I love these type of B-movie action films. I actually started 2024 off with The Beekeeper. That was starring Jason Statham. These kind of films I always get a kick out of. I'm looking forward to checking it out and hopefully giving you some positive thoughts on it when I get around to seeing that film. Then next on the list, coming out on January 17th, we have In the Gray. This is another Guy Ritchie film. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill. Both guys have worked with Guy Ritchie in the past. I like Guy Ritchie films. I'm always excited to check out one of his new movies, and put Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill in this. It's a win for me. So I'm excited to see In the Gray coming out later this month. Next, we've got a Mark Wahlberg film, Flight Risk. This is directed by Mel Gibson. It's coming out on January 24th. Also stars Topher Grace and Michelle Dockery. I don't really know anything about this film. However, I do like Mel Gibson as a director. Mark Wahlberg's always fun to watch on screen. It looks mildly interesting to me from what little I have seen of it. Now I'm going to skip down on this list. The next one I want to talk about is Paddington in Peru. Shocker, I haven't seen Paddington 1 or 2, but I've heard that those films are so charming. And again, I've heard nothing but great things about these movies. I am absolutely going to be checking out Paddington 1 and 2. Hopefully I'll be able to do a quick review on both of those films, and then I'll be going to check out Paddington in Peru. This film hits theaters on February 14th. It's competing directly with Captain America Brave New World. We'll be talking about that movie in my most anticipated comic book movies of 2025. But Paddington in Peru, these Paddington movies have been hitting it out of the park with each release, and so I have nothing but the highest of expectations for this next installment in the Paddington franchise. Then I'm going to skip down to Mickey 17, starring Robert Pattinson. This is directed by Bong Joon-ho, who directed Parasite, the Oscar-winning film Parasite, a couple years back. Now, this film, I have seen one trailer for it, and it looks way out there, but also it's probably my type of film. It looks my speed, and I'm so excited to check this out. Absolutely one of my most anticipated films of this year. Not just one that I've heard of in passing, it's one that I've actually been looking forward to checking out for quite a while. Has a very interesting premise behind it. Looking forward to seeing Mickey 17, and it hits theaters on March 7th, just 2 days after my birthday. So maybe this will be a nice birthday present for me to go check out Mickey 17 in theaters. Then next we have The Alto Nights. It's directed by Barry Levinson and stars Robert De Niro. Now this movie I believe was supposed to come out last year, got delayed into this year. I really don't know much about this movie other than it is another mob type of film for Robert De Niro. Again, know very little about it, but I always look forward to checking out these types of films that Robert De Niro is involved with. So, am I going to be seeing Alto Nights later this year? Probably so, and I'll give you my thoughts on that film when it hits theaters finally on March 21st. Now we've hit April, and the big movie that I just have no idea which way this one could go. It could go either in the great category, the bad category, the forgettable category, or the why did we even think this was a good idea category. And that is the Minecraft movie starring Jack Black and Jason Momoa. I have to say, that first trailer, I just thought, what are we doing? That's where my headspace was. why are we making this movie in this way? If we were going to do a Minecraft movie, why is it not animated? Why is this the direction that they decided to go in? Then I saw the second trailer, and I have to say it piqued my interest at least a little bit. Both me and my wife thought it looks really weird, really crazy, but it might be just crazy enough to work. Will the Minecraft movie be any good? I don't know, but I'm going to be checking it out simply out of curiosity as to whether or not this movie is good or not. I hope it's at least mildly entertaining. You have Jack Black in here, you have Jason Momoa in here. However, Jack Black in video game movies are about a 50-50 shot if they're going to be good or not. The Super Mario Brothers movie was good, but the Borderlands movie didn't quite work out the same way. So, will the Minecraft movie be any good? I hope so. We'll just have to wait and see come April. Then we've got the next Ryan Coogler film. He's partnering up again with Michael B. Jordan. He's worked with him in the past on Black Panther and the first Creed film. This movie is called Sinners. I did happen to see a trailer for this movie. It looks so interesting. I'm very intrigued, very interested to see where this film can go, and Ryan Coogler is always a win for me. He's one of those few directors where I'm always interested to see what project he has coming out next. So Sinners is one of those films that I am looking forward to seeing later on in 2025. Now we've hit May, Lilo and Stitch. Saw a little teaser for this a few months ago in 2024 when D23 was happening, and they showed us the first image, the first live action image of Stitch. Now, one of the great things about this is that Stitch will be portrayed by the original voice actor who played him in the original Lilo and Stitch film, and I think that this film, rather than the Snow White film, I feel like there's heart in this. I feel like the creators actually care. There's something that just feels special about this movie. I feel like they're doing something different, and so I'm hopeful that Lilo and Stitch is going to be one of those good Disney live-action remakes and not one of those that just feels like a straight-up cash grab like I feel Snow White might end up being. I hope I'm proven wrong on Snow White, and I hope I'm proven right on Lilo and Stitch. I am excited to see that movie, and I can't wait to check it out come May of 2025. Then on May 23rd, we have one of my favorite action franchises starring Tom Cruise. That is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. This was originally Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 2. What was originally Dead Reckoning Part 1 and is now just Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning came out in 2023. I love that film. This is one of those franchises that just constantly delivers with each installment. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, I have no doubt, is going to do just the same. I'm sure it's going to be just another great installment in the Mission Impossible franchise. Will this be the last movie in this franchise? I'm not so sure, but if it is, this is an 8-film series that has just continued to deliver film after film, gotten better and better and better. And so if this is intended to be the final film, then I have just got to say thank you to the entire team behind the Mission Impossible franchise for continuously delivering quality content. I can't wait to check out Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning later on at the end of May. And then at the end of May, on May 30th, we have Karate Kid Legends. This is intended to bring together the original Karate Kid franchise and the Karate Kid reboot starring Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's coming back from that Karate Kid remake film, and Ralph Macchio's coming back from the original Karate Kid series and the Cobra Kai series on Netflix. I'm interested to check this one out. I'm not a huge Karate Kid fan, but I've always been intrigued by this series, and I'm looking forward to checking out Karate Kid Legends. I hope it delivers. I hope it's a win for this series. After Cobra Kai has been doing so well on Netflix, I hope that Karate Kid Legends delivers just as that series has been delivering. Looking forward to checking that one out on May 30th of 2025. Then in June, we've got The Ballerina. This is an installment in the John Wick franchise. I've heard this is more like John Wick, I think 3.5. I believe it's set between the events of John Wick Chapter 3 and John Wick Chapter 4. John Wick himself, Keanu Reeves, is even supposed to be in this film for at least maybe 20-30 minutes in the runtime. It's not a small role. He's actually going to be playing more of a supporting character, and I'm excited to see what Ana de Armas has in store for us. I've always liked her ever since I saw her in Knives Out and No Time to Die. She was great in No Time to Die in the final Daniel Craig James Bond film, so I'm excited to see what she can do in another action role all on her own. And I'm hopeful that this film is going to be another great entry into the John Wick series. John Wick is one of my favorite movie franchises, so I cannot wait to check out The Ballerina in June this year. Then we've got the next Pixar film coming out on June 13th. It's called ELIO. I know next to nothing about this film. I saw the trailer for this movie, and I've got to say it has piqued my interest, but again, I don't know much about this movie, so am I super excited for this film? I don't know. I'm curious about it, but I can't say that I'm super excited about it. Then on June 13th, surprise, surprise, I also haven't seen the How to Train Your Dragon movies, but I will be doing so leading up to the How to Train Your Dragon live-action film coming out on June 13th. I'm pretty excited to see this movie. I saw the trailer for it. I'm sure I'll get even more excited for it once I see the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy later on. I'm going to be checking out those movies leading up to the release of the live-action film, and I can't wait to check out this movie. I fell in love with the trailer. I'm excited to see this movie. It has the creators behind the animated films working on the live-action film, so that gives me a lot of confidence thinking that they're actually going to be delivering something that's not just a straight-up cash grab, but it's actually going to be another great installment in the How to Train Your Dragon series. Then on June 20th, we've got 28 Years Later, Alex Garland's series in the 28 series of zombie films from 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. I'm looking forward to checking out 28 Years Later. I'm a zombie franchise fan. You know, I love The Walking Dead, love The Last of Us, whether or not you agree that's a zombie series anyway. I like this type of post-apocalyptic storytelling, so I'm looking forward to checking out 28 Years Later. I'm also going to have to do a first-time watch of 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later leading up to 28 Years Later. A lot of films I haven't checked out, but hopefully I'll be able to get caught up on this series so that I can get even more excited to go see 28 Years Later when it hits theaters later on June 20th. Then I'm going to skip down to a June 27th release. That is F1, Brad Pitt's F1, directed by Joseph Kosinski. I don't know much about this film, but I love racing stories. I love racing films. I just love that whole car culture. And so I am excited to check out F1 when it hits theaters later on in June. Now we've got to July, Jurassic World Rebirth. This is a series that I have a love and a meh relationship with. Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park that was released in 1993, is one of my all-time favorite films. I love Jurassic Park. I quite like the second one, The Lost World, and I had a lot of fun with Jurassic Park 3. I even had a lot of fun with Jurassic World. Did I like Fallen Kingdom? Not so much, and I've got to say I didn't get a chance to check out Jurassic World Dominion, but I heard that was one of the lesser films in the series anyway. I will be checking it out before I go see Jurassic World Rebirth, so I have to say, am I excited for this movie? Only because it's changing the creative team behind it. Gareth Edwards is now behind the camera, the guy who directed Rogue One, or at least the majority of Rogue One. He directed the first Godzilla movie, and he directed The Creator from a few years ago. He's one of my favorite directors. You know, he doesn't always deliver great films, but he does deliver interesting films. So I'm excited for the fact that they have a new creative team behind this. It's not Colin Trevorrow anymore. Now we have Gareth Edwards behind the camera. We have a new cast. Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali will be joining the cast of this film. So I'm excited to see it come July, and we'll see if it delivers. I hope it does, and I hope it gets back to the roots of the Jurassic Park series. Now we'll skip to August because there's a couple other movies coming out in July, but that'll be in my comic book 2025 video that I'll be releasing later. So we're going to skip down to August, The Bad Guys 2. I didn't see The Bad Guys 1, but I hopefully will get a chance to check that one out. It looks fun. The first movie looked fun just because of life getting in the way, certain things happening. I just didn't get a chance to see that first Bad Guys movie. However, I am excited to go check out that one and then check out Bad Guys 2 when it hits theaters later on August 1st. Then we got a spoof movie in here, the Naked Gun remake starring Liam Neeson. This was the Leslie Nielsen-led film series that spoofed so many genres in the police procedural type of series. It made fun of cop movies and cop shows. It was back when spoof movies were good, before they got kind of trashy in the 2000s. And so this is one of those that I hope goes back to the way that these kind of movies used to be made. Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights, you know, movies like that. A lot of the Mel Brooks type of spoof films going back to the old Naked Gun movies, how those movies were made. Hoping that this one leans more in that direction and not in the direction like movies like Epic Movie, Meet the Spartans, movies like that that were just plain trash in my opinion. Hopefully this movie actually turns out to be good rather than trash. It also hits theaters on August 1st. Now we've hit October. We've got a Michael Jackson biopic titled Michael. Am I super excited to see this movie? I don't know. I'm not so sure about musical biopics. Sometimes they can be really good, and sometimes they can be not so good. This one is actually starring Michael Jackson's son, Jafar Jackson, who will be playing him in the film, and I'll also be starring actor Coleman Domingo alongside of him. So am I going to be checking this one out? Maybe, but I'm just not so sure if I'm excited or not to see this one. Then on October 10th, we got the long-awaited Tron sequel, Tron Ares. This is a sequel to Tron Legacy, which came out all the way back in 2010. Jeff Bridges is coming back from the previous 2 Tron films. Yes, there was another Tron film that was released in the 1980s, I believe. This one, along with Jeff Bridges, will have Jared Leto, Gillian Jacobs, Evan Peters, and Cameron Monaghan, just to name a few. Let's move on to October 24th. We've got Mortal Kombat 2, the sequel to the 2021 Mortal Kombat reboot. Now, that film was a bit of a misfire in some aspects, but it did do decently well enough to garner a sequel. So let's hope that Mortal Kombat 2 is at least a little bit better. These Mortal Kombat films are always going to be a little hit and miss. It might be so bad that it's good. Maybe this one will actually be quite entertaining. We'll just have to wait and see come October 24th. Now let's move on to November. We've got Predator Badlands coming out on November 7th. Now, I'm not a huge Predator fan, but having just gotten myself into the Alien series, I'm going to be checking out the Predator series for the first time very soon. And the movie Prey, which came out a few years ago on Hulu, did quite well. It received a lot of praise, and so I'm hoping that Predator Badlands will also be quite good. This is going to be the first time that the Predator is actually going to be the protagonist of the film. So that's an interesting twist on this whole series that's been running since the 80s, hoping that it can bring some new life into this series like Prey did a few years ago. Then on November 14th, we've got Now You See Me 3. I saw Now You See Me 2 way back in 2016, I believe, and so it's been almost 10 years since the last installment in this series. This one, like the previous films in this series, stars Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, Morgan Freeman's coming back. So a lot of the previous cast is coming back for Now You See Me 3. Now You See Me 2 is pretty fun. Looking forward to seeing Now You See Me 3. I'm hoping it'll be at least just as fun as the previous films in this series. Then we got Edgar Wright's The Running Man. Don't know much about this film, but I always like seeing an Edgar Wright film, so looking forward to checking this one out on November 21st, starring Glenn Powell, Katie O'Brien, and Carl Glusman. Then on November 21st, we've got Wicked for Good. This is the sequel to Wicked, which just released this past November. Am I excited for this film? Gotta say, I didn't check out Wicked, mainly because I'm not a big musical guy. And this is one of those I was going to wait to go to the theaters with my wife. We just haven't got a chance to go out and see this one, and so we're going to end up missing it in theaters. But hopefully we'll be able to get a chance to go check out Wicked for Good when it hits theaters on November 21st. Maybe we'll make a date night of it. I don't know. This might be a good movie to check out. Hearing good things about the first Wicked movie, so I've got nothing but some good expectations for Wicked for Good. Then on November 26th, we've got the sequel to Zootopia, which also came out in 2016, like Now You See Me 2. This is Zootopia 2. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. I really like that first Zootopia film. I thought it was so charming, so I'm looking forward to seeing Zootopia 2 when it hits theaters on November 26th. Is this a little late? Yes, I wish these sequels would come out a little closer to when the original came out. This is becoming a trend with not only animated movies, but a lot of live action films as well, taking years until we get to the next film. So has the hype died down since that first Zootopia? Maybe a little, but I am still looking forward to checking out Zootopia 2 when it hits theaters later in November. Now we've hit December. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, a weird month to release this movie. I thought this one should come out in October. You know, it is a horror movie, so October is a little bit more fitting for movies like this. Did I see the first Five Nights at Freddy's movie? No, but I heard some good things about that from the fan base of the Five Nights at Freddy franchise. So, am I going to go check this one out? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm sure it'll be at least as good as that first movie. One can only hope, but it's coming out on December 5th of this year. And then the final film that I'm going to talk about for 2025, that is Avatar: Fire and Ash. This is coming out on December 19th. I like the Avatar series. I'm going to be doing a rewatch of the Avatar series and seeing Avatar: The Way of Water for the first time later this year. I missed that one when it hit theaters, but I quite enjoyed the first Avatar film, so I'm looking forward to getting caught up on this series and then going to see Avatar: Fire and Ash when it hits theaters later on December 19th. James Cameron always knows how to deliver a great movie-going experience. Do not count him out. He always delivers great films. Whether or not you believe so, they always deliver highly at the box office. So don't count this one out. Avatar: Fire and Ash is going to be a huge film when it releases later on in December. Guys, that's all I got for you for my most anticipated movies, or at least the movies that are coming out for 2025 that I may be going to see in theaters. Some really good movies to check out for 2025. 2025 is going to be a stacked year. Again, I've got another video coming for my most anticipated comic book movies of 2025. That's going to be releasing very soon on the channel. I'm so excited to get back to doing YouTube here, talking about all the movies and TV shows that I love to watch, getting in touch with the YouTube community. Guys, I love getting a chance to talk to you, so go down to the comment section and let me know what movies you're looking forward to seeing this year in 2025. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Before you guys go, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you get notified when new videos go live on this channel. When you guys do that, it always helps me out, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for getting me to 265 subscribers on the channel. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know that we can do it together. So guys, remember, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll get notified when new videos go live on this channel. Thank you guys so much for a great 2024. Look forward to a great 2025. Hope you all have an awesome and a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.